Big, friendly giant. Friendly. What is up, everybody? Welcome to The Real Review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the BFG. This movie is brought to us by the man, the myth, the legend, Steven Spielberg. I'm going to be totally honest with you, before this movie came out, I have never heard of this story before. I've never heard of the BFG. It was never read to me in school. I never read it in school, and I've just come to learn that this is a classic? Awesome, I guess. So yeah, apparently I missed out in my childhood by not reading this book. However, knowing that this movie was coming out, I went to the library, got the book, I read it for my kids, and we all had an awesome time reading it. I just got back from the movie theater. I took my 5-year-old to go see this movie, and when we were leaving the theater, he goes, "Dad, that was my favorite movie ever." Sure, next week when The Land Before Time 276 comes out, he might say that is his favorite movie ever, but I loved hearing him say that about this movie. Right off the bat, comparing this movie to the book, I actually feel like there are a lot of parts that the movie does a lot better than the book actually does. The BFG is about a young girl. Her name is Sophie. She is an orphan and she meets the BFG, aka the Big Friendly Giant. And throughout this movie, they go on some adventures, they become friends, and they form an alliance to try and take down the other not-so-friendly giants. I'm going to tell you right now, I actually really enjoyed this movie. It probably helps that I had my 5-year-old next to me the whole time that was like this. It gets me right here every time. The characters in this movie are great. The little girl who plays Sophie in this movie is fantastic. You have Mark Rylance, who's been teaming up with Spielberg lately a lot, who plays the BFG, who's really good in this movie. His little banter and his own little language that he makes up is actually quite funny. Also, whatever type of performance or motion capture they did with the faces of the giants was really fantastic. There were a couple of moments where the giants were standing there and I was like, huh, that looks like a real giant. Terrific job. Well done. The movie was charming. I don't really have any negatives to say about it other than it was a PG family-friendly movie and I think it accomplished its job perfectly well. The adult in me wanted to see maybe an elaboration on some of the darker tones and darker themes of the movie, but other than that, I was having such a great time with this movie. Just watching it, it was fun. Watching the BFG actually reminded me of when my teachers in elementary school would read books to me and I would be sitting there daydreaming, thinking about all these things that were happening in the book. I actually felt like that's what I was watching on screen, and I think that's a testament to Steven Spielberg. The man is awesome. He can tell a story, he can direct a story, he can direct his characters and the actors, and it's just fantastic. Sure, I might have had a different experience if I wouldn't have had my son being enthusiastically watching the movie with me and having a great time, but I had him with me. He loved it. All the other kids in the movie loved it. If you have small kids and you're thinking about taking them to see this movie, I might warn you in a couple spots there might be some tension involved, but it's PG. It doesn't really go too dark and it's not really jump scary or anything like that. Maybe before you take your kids to the movie, you can go to websites like kidsinmind.com and you can actually see the breakdown of the content that's in the movie. That way you can be the judge beforehand. If there's stuff in there that you don't want your kids to see, maybe your kid's not ready for that kind of thing. It's really cool. Check it out. I thought this movie was fun. I thought it was charming. My 5-year-old loved it and we had a great time at the theater. Good job, Steven Spielberg. Good job, BFG. I'm going to give it an A-. So have you guys seen the BFG? Tell me about it in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and you have a fantastic day.